Hello and welcome here. My name is Josie. If we haven't met before, I am a stay-at-home mom who lives in Indiana, and this is a channel all about my making, mostly knitting. It is my greatest crafting love, but I dabble in other things like weaving, sewing, crochet, embroidery. Today, I don't have any finished objects for you. Well, no knitting finished objects. I have one sewing and I have one hand dyeing, which is so exciting. So I'll start with the sewing because I don't have them with me. I made little gift bags. I got some fabric from my friend who is spring cleaning, which I will show you later in the video. I'll show you some of that fabric, but they were little like fleece fabrics, and they were so soft that I could not pass them up after I felt them. But I didn't love the colors. They're like this baby blue, baby yellow. And I was asking my friends, like, what would I do with this fabric? And they said, you could make baby blankets. You could, I think that was the only thing suggested was a baby blanket. So I decided to make little gift bags. I just completely made up. I didn't use a pattern. I just made it up as I went, and it was so much fun. So I gave my mom and my dad and my sister their like Easter presents and a housewarming gift in these little gift bags that I sewed that were so soft. So that was really fun. It was really fun not to have a pattern. It was really fun to just dive in blindly. Sewing is a little stressful for me. It doesn't come super naturally. So it was really fun to just wing it and see how I could make it work. Another finished object I have is the hand dyeing. So I know that in the past few episodes you have seen my adventure with hand dyeing. You've seen the colors, you've seen my practice, and I told you that I had 4 skeins. Is that right? Yes, I had 4 skeins, and I had one skein that I split into 10 mini skeins so that I could practice. I could see the colors of the acid dye I got, and I could practice some speckling, variegated techniques. And then last podcast, I showed you all of the 10 skeins, and all I had left were the 4 skeins that I needed for my shawl that or a wrap, or some type of shawl or wrap that I want to design. Or just like draft for myself, not necessarily design it to release it, but just want to make. And I showed you 2 options. I showed you the purple and the pink, like variegated. And you guys were so nice in your feedback. I got pretty split feedback. And as I was thinking about it, I just knew that I would regret not going with the variegated color. Whoops. Sorry if you hear my phone. I'll turn that off. But yes, I knew that I would regret not doing the variegated colorway. That's what I had wanted to do. That's why I was like falling in love with the idea of dyeing in the first place. So, without further ado, oh, they're kind of blown out. Let me show you. Oh, they look a little Christmassy, like green and like red, right? But they are far from perfect. Far from perfect. They look a little blown out. There is some brown in there, which I didn't want. There is some purple in there, which I didn't want. And there is some blue in there, which I didn't want. I did see, what color did I see break? It was the green. The green broke on me. It split into blue and, how do you make green? Yellow. It split into blue and yellow. And the blue then mixed with my magenta to make a purple. So I don't remember. I only have one stock pot, so I had to dye these one at a time. And then they took, one skein took 2 days to dry. So I did one, and I was like, it didn't turn out great. I didn't love it. And so I then waited for it to dry. Like, I was put it up to dry, and then I did the second one, and I used much more of the dark magenta pink, and I liked it a lot better. But the first skein was not dry yet, so I couldn't really see how it looked. So then I did the third day, and I dyed, another one, still with that, like, okay, I think I like the darker pink more prevalent. And by that day, the first skein was dyed, and I knew that I would need to dye it again. So I had 5 long dye days. I mean, they only took about like an hour of like active dyeing, because I had to let it set before I added another color so that they wouldn't bleed. And since I only had one stock pot, it just took a while. So I had 5 days. So this took a long time, but I'm really happy with it. I have no idea how it's going to turn out. Another reason why I wanted to just go for the variegated was because I've never knitted with variegated yarn before. I have knitted with speckled, but variegated I haven't. So I really have no idea how this shawl will turn out. I just know that I wanted the colors, and the colors are making me happy. So like, let me give you a close-up of, so like this one, there's like the heavy, like the magenta, and then like definitely the lighter pink and some areas of white, and then you have the yellow goldish color and the green, of course. So yeah, it made me really happy. And I have them up like on my wall, like you can't see, but over there, and just looking at them makes me really happy. So my plan, my husband and I are going on an anniversary trip. See, like this one has a little bit of blue in it from where that green broke and didn't mix with the magenta. So then I was like, well, I would prefer the purple over blue. And so I was then trying to do the green at the same time. So they're by no means match, but I like tried to use equivalent amount of magenta when I poured it in, and try to use the same amount of yellow when I was dotting them on. And so I really don't know how they're gonna interact together. I will 100% be alternating skeins, because I don't even know, like they're not twins or sisters. Well, I think these are like not sisters, they're cousins. They're even farther apart from each other. So I will be alternating skeins, but it was fun. I even got a little orange in there. Here's some orange, which I don't love. I mean, I don't mind it in the like little skein. Yep, I think you can see some orange maybe right here. But it was so much fun. I really had so much fun. And I'm really excited to see what variegated yarn kind of looks like knit up in a larger garment, not just socks. So I'm really pumped. This was really fun. Thank you so much for giving me your advice. I do have plans for another hand dyeing experience, but I'll share that with you at the end. I think I have that written down. Yes, I'll share that with you at the end. So, I really, really wanted to have my Harlow V-neck sweater done by this next podcast, which is why it's a week late, and I still don't have it done. I was really struggling with the feeling like I needed to show you. Like, I have 2 knitting whips, and that it would just be boring if I came back with like 2 unfinished sweaters that I almost like you deserve to see something finished. Like, I know so many people that I just really feel like can whip out a lot of finished objects, and I'm just not one of them, even though I do have consistent knitting time every day. And I was feeling disappointed that I wasn't able to get this finished like I wanted to. But here we are. I don't have any knitting finished objects, and both of my whips have been whips for the past few weeks, and I'm trying to embrace the slowness of knitting. the slowness of knitting is a slow craft. It is not a speedy craft. If I wanted a speedy craft, I would do other things, right? So trying to embrace that and celebrating the beauty of going slow and making things for myself, for my house, making them more intentional, enjoying the process and not just speeding through. So yes, I hope you can relate to that. I hope you are not terribly bored that I'm showing you the Harlow sweater again in an unfinished state. But here we are. So I did get a lot done. I was here last time. I put the little marker in. I'm not going to move it this time since I just have the ribbing on the sleeve. I'll back up a little bit. And I did the split in. So yeah. Okay. I'm not done yet. And I'm ready to be done. Mostly because I just don't like the yarn. I am using Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino, held by itself. And I'm not enjoying it one bit, honestly. So I'm excited for it to be done and off the needles. I played a little bit of Yarn Chicken, and this is my last ball. Where did it go? This is my last ball. And so I had 2 balls. I had 2 balls when I finished the neckline. So I did I finished the ribbing, and then I just went to the neckline, and I had 2 balls left. And I started with this sleeve and realized I wasn't going to have enough. So currently I did one decrease, one sleeve decrease short. So instead of decreasing 6 times, I decreased 5. And then my ribbing is also, I think it is an inch short. So I think in total, before blocking, of course, my sleeve is 3 inches shorter, which I'm okay with because the pattern has extremely long sleeves. I'm actually gonna put it on because it's almost done, and I haven't tried it on since doing the sleeve. So I'm hoping that it will be okay. So I expect that with blocking, this will go down and it'll be better. Right now, currently, if I'm not stretching it, it's right here. I think that looks good. And I think with blocking, I'll be able to get another inch out of it, hopefully. I think the whole thing will come down with blocking, but yeah, I was playing Yarn Chicken. For the ribbing, I had to unravel my swatch. I did 2 swatches, one on the recommended needle side, US 7, and one on US 6. I ended up going with US 6, and I had to unravel one to get enough for the ribbing. Each swatch had 14 grams. Each swatch was 14 grams of yarn, and so I unraveled one. I knit it in the round, but then I did not snip the back of the strands, and so I was still able to use them. Thank goodness. So this is the same thing. This ball where did this ball go? I have a little bit more of this ball than the other one. At the end of my stockinette portion, right before the ribbing, which I'm there currently, I'm matching the other sleeve, I had nothing. I had enough for half a round. So this ball has significantly more. I haven't weighed it, but but I want them to match, so I'm going to start the ribbing now. And I'll just use the ribbing for this, and then I'll get into my swatch, and I won't have, that's how much I'll have. So yeah, I'll definitely go into more details about like finishing it, and then the sewing, like sewing the bind off and the folded collar, but I just wanted to, like, when I'm done, so next podcast, but Lord willing, I should say when I'm done, because who knows what could happen that wouldn't let me finish. But so yeah, it's super close. I'm really excited. It should be done by my anniversary trip, which is the goal, because I'll be there in 2 weeks. So yeah, Harlow sweater, almost done. And then the other sweater that I worked on, I think I only worked on it during my craft night, because I was in like stockinette in the round and round, was my ranunculus. So I'll show you the progress I made on this. This will be my greater focus after I'm finished with my Harlow. There it is. So yeah, I got a good amount of length on there. I host a monthly craft night with some women from my church. And it was so much fun. So I probably got, I don't know, 3 inches, would you say? So yeah, this is coming together well. I'm going to move that marker. I am using 2 yarns held together for the ranunculus. But this ranunculus is from my mom. I'm doing the smallest size, but I did have to do some extra raglan increases to get it to fit more comfortably on her. There, I got my marker moved. So, yes, I am using Cascade 220 worsted weight with Berroco Ariel, which is the soft silk mohair. And it's delightful. I'm so excited to work on this after working with the Knitting for Olive Merino. So excited! So yeah, that's all. I just did a few inches of stockinette on the ranunculus. Quick update. And then my other kind of active whip is the towel weaving. It's a pattern by Liz Gibson. I'll just take a picture because I've done a lot of work on it. Like, I'm not yet done with the first towel, but I've done about 26 inches of work, and the first towel I think needs to be 30. So it's close, but since I'm winding it as I go, it will really look no different than the last time I showed it. So I'll put a picture, but I figured I wouldn't show it. But okay, those are my whips. And I wanted to show you the acquisitions that I got. So I got some pretty fabric. My friend has some sewing fabric remnants, and I grabbed some that I thought were really pretty. So there's this. They're all different yardage. There's this one. I'll put them side by side because they may have looked different, but this one definitely is more rosy and this one's more, yellowy. And then I had these. These are much smaller areas. Like this is all I got. It's like fat quarter size, a little bit less. But yeah, there's that pretty yellow fabric. Here's this one. It's like a really pretty blue flower. This one is also blue. So those I have a very small amount. And then I also have this like purple cotton linen blend. I don't know what it is, but it kind of feels like cotton linen. I have quite a lot of this. And then I have what I am going to use as like a lining fabric. So my plan is to participate in the I don't know what it's called. Dodgy Bag MAL or something, hosted by, I'm blanking. I just found her recently. I was going to talk about her in my favorites. I can talk about her now. Sneak peek. Allie, I think is her name. This Wonderful Life, I think is her vlogging channel. I can't remember her knitting and crochet channel. But she is hosting, I think starting in April, a Dodgy project bag make along with someone else, and I'm gonna participate. I found these bags and I was like, oh, that would be so much fun. And I thought how fun it would be to make a bag for my hand-dyed project, like as I'm working on it, having a large bag for that shawl. So that's my plan. This will be like lining fabric, because there's a lot here. There's a lot of that. And then I had two more like apparel rayon fabrics. There's this one, and then another black. It's kind of pinned together, so this one's gonna be hard to show. Kind of black and white floral pattern. It's kind of hard to show, but yeah, another kind of polyester rayon. I don't know what it is, but very light and flowy. So it's my two apparels. I have all of these like project bag, and then I went, sorry if I just shook the camera, but I went shopping at Joann's because I had a coupon, and I got this huge, like very stiff interfacing. I talked to the lady there and I was like, I've never made a project bag before. I think I need interfacing because I don't like it when the bags are very floppy and like fold in on themselves. And I said, but I don't know what kind I need. And she handed me this. And it is, I mean, it's like a poster board. So yeah, super, I don't know how to show like how thick it is or just how sturdy. So I hope it's not too sturdy, but I got some interfacing to try on some bags. I got this, it was in the remnant, so it's 50% off, and this little pink checker, which I thought was so spring, so summer. Oh, so beautiful. And then I got two duck canvas, which I've never heard of, but they were also in the remnants, 50% off. This one is very, yeah, that's like a very light pink. It kind of looks tan. Yeah, very light pink. And this one is a dark green, and I thought I can try, because in some of her tutorials for making the Dodgy bags, she uses a bottom sturdier canvas and then a more quilting cotton looking fabric on top of her bags, and I thought, well, I can try this with these. Duck canvas, never heard of it. I think it's called duck canvas, right? No, duck cloth is what it's called. Duck cloth. I asked the lady there, I said, is this reasonable like to get to make for bags? And she said yes. And she said it feels like really strong. And she said that you could still use it on like a home sewing machine. So I'm putting all my trust in the lady at Joann Fabrics. And then I got like 5 zippers that they were buy 3 get 2, or buy 2 get 3 free or something. And so I'm really excited to participate in that make along. I think it'll be really fun to get some sojo back. I feel like I always get inspired for sewing in the spring, summer, and so now I have like fabric to do things. I don't have to even pay money to go make a Dodgy bag. I can just join. So I'll leave the info for that like in the description box if you like. I'll leave her channel if you want to learn more about that, because I don't know too much about it yet either. That was it for all of my FOs, whips, and acquisitions. I haven't bought any yarn. So my favorites of the month / plans for like the next season, I guess, for the spring. I wanted to share this pattern that I found by Sari Nordland called the Turtle Dove pattern. Turtle Dove scarf, I think. I think it is so beautiful. My friend I just found out she's moving away, and she doesn't know where yet, so I'm hesitant to buy it in case she moves somewhere warm and she won't like need a merino scarf. But I still think I'm gonna knit this scarf for her because I think it's really beautiful, and the meaning behind the scarf was so sweet. It was from like Home Alone 2, and it was talking about something like I'll just put her quote on the screen, honestly. It was about like 2 friends being imaged by turtle doves, and I just thought that would be so sweet to knit her one. So My plan is to buy some bare yarn, probably from Knit Picks, and then dye it in my friend's favorite color. So that's my next dyeing adventure. It will be solid this time. It will be a solid color. I think it would be a little bit too stressful to dye variegated or any other kind of speckled for someone else not knowing what I'm doing. So yeah, I plan on dyeing this for her and knitting on it. Definitely not by next time that we chat, but it's a spring plan. And the other spring plan that I have is my cousin is pregnant and we just found out it's a boy. And so I want to knit her like a baby cardigan or a baby sweater that like kind of has buttons. So I never knitted for my son when I was pregnant with him because I wasn't really knitting garments at that time. And I still don't know if I had another child, if I would want to knit them baby garments because they just like, my son just pooped and peed and puked like everywhere. And the thought of having that in like a knitted garment, I don't know, doesn't really appeal to me. But the idea of making that for my cousin feels really special. I don't know why. I don't know why. But if you have any patterns that you really like, that you have knitted for babies in your life, specifically like a sweater or cardigan or a button-up or something like that, let me know. It'll probably be in like, she's due in July, so I'll probably make the 6-month size so that he could wear it in the winter. I think the 3 or maybe fall, 3 to 6 months. But yeah, let me know if you have any like favorite, and it's a boy as well, so pattern, like baby patterns that would look good on a boy or would look cute, that you've really liked like the knitting experience. Let me know if you have any of those, because that's my other knitting plan in the spring. So as for my shawl, I'm taking a note from Addie from Ruby and Roses. She loves to, when she travels, to then have a new project to cast on for that travel. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be swatching before I travel, and then I'll cast on and start knitting on my shawl wrap thing design with my hand-dyed yarn on our anniversary trip. So that will be in 2 weekends. So yeah, I'm super excited for that. That's my plan for my shawl. And then my last favorite of the month, not a pattern, not knitting related, but was a book series. It's the Blood of Kings series by Jill Williamson. She's a Christian writer, and so it's considered Christian fantasy is what it was. It was a young adult Christian fantasy, which I had never read that like specific genre before. And it was so good. I flew through it. The first book took me a little bit longer, maybe a couple weeks. The second book, less than a week. The third book I finished in like 3 days. It took a lot of my knitting time because I was just so enthralled and I so wanted to know what happened. And it was so beautiful. The storyline, the good versus evil, but it also just made me reflect that sacrifice is worth it. Like sacrificing for the Lord, for His glory, for His work in my life is worth it. It was just so encouraging. I adored it. I adored it so much. So I wanted to share with you because it was so good. It won the Christie Book Award. I'm not too familiar with it, but it had that little stamp on it, on the book cover. It was just so good. It's kind of like a Christian allegory, I would say. Christian fantasy allegory. So if you enjoy that type of reading, I highly recommend because it was phenomenal. So let me know if you've read it before. I haven't met anyone of my friends who has read that series, so it was a first for me. I hadn't heard about it before, and it was well worth the blind read. It was amazing. So I hope you're having a great start to your April. I hope you had a great Easter. We celebrated And it was a blast. Such a beautiful day. Not necessarily weather-wise, but just celebrating the resurrection of Jesus was beautiful with friends in church. So I hope you had a great Easter as well. Comment down below and let me know if any favorite baby garments you have, as well as if you're going to join in the Dodgy make-along, Dodgy Bag make-along. I'll leave that information below in the description box so you can view it as well. We will talk very soon. Until then, I hope you have a lot of happy knitting and happy crafting.